Hello everyone, this is a top 5 video. It's actually the first time I'm doing one of these other than a theory video or something else. I might do more of these in the future, I'm not really sure, we'll see where that goes. I'm not really sure what I can do, but I'm mostly just going to stick with theory videos though, see how far that gets me, even though there are about 5 to 10 other people who do theory videos and they're way better than what I do. I'm at the bottom of the list, but we'll see where it takes me next year. So, for this list, there's gonna be a rule or so for this. The rule is that if you're expecting the episodes Ocean Gem, Mirror Gem, Jailbreak, The Return, those 4 episodes, I'm sorry, they're not gonna be on this list. It would just be way too predictable. And those episodes are the midterm finale, and then they're the season 1 finale. Of course those episodes are gonna have so much put into them because they want to wow you and stuff. Mirror Gem and Ocean Gem, those were the episodes that hooked me to Steven Universe eventually. That really got my attention, and I stuck all the way through to where I am now. Of course they're gonna have so much built into those, but because they're so good, it just wipes out the other, 48 other episodes in this season? So, that's not really fair. 2, from the title of the video, the only episodes that I'm going to be mentioning are Season 1 episodes. This is a Season 1 only list. So, I'm sorry if none of your favorite Peridot episodes or whatever aren't on this list, then click away now, I guess, if you don't want that. And 3, the biggest thing about this list, when it comes to lists like these, this is my opinion. 100% of these episodes are my opinion. These aren't the best episodes from, what the government or Rebecca says or Alex Hirsch says or whatever. These are just my opinions of what I think are the best episodes that anyone could really watch, more or less. Especially if you are a fan of Steven Universe. Without further ado, let the list go on. Going on to the list, it's a tie with number 5. I know I cheated a little, but I'll explain in a sec. The episodes are Giant Woman and Coach Steven. Why is it a tie? Well, because the episodes are pretty much the same. Giant Woman is all about a fusion, and then there's a song about the fusion. Coach Steven is all about the fusion with a little bit something different with it, and then the song is mostly about the fusion. The only thing different so much is the ending where Opal, the fusion in that episode, saves the day and saves Steven, and Coach Steven, Sugilite, the fusion in that episode, kind of ruins the day, and Pearl has to save Steven. Not only that, she has to stop Sugilite because she's out of control. The reason why I put this at top 5, or at least just 5, is because, well, this episode shows what fusion is. With Opal, you see that, fusion can be graceful, beauty, and really powerful. And with Sugilite, you can see that fusion can be dangerous and out of control, chaotic, and also very, very powerful. That's why fusions such as Rainbow Quartz and Opal are more or less the same. They only have one extra feature, Opal having 2 extra arms and Rainbow Quartz having 2 extra eyes. With Sugilite, she may be a very powerful fusion, probably the strongest one by far. I know Alexandrite might be the strongest one, but we haven't seen much of her, so that could be for another day. But Sugilite, she has enough power to do anything she wants, and that's a problem. She has 5 eyes, and not only that, she has 4 arms, and she's a giant, pure giant. And it shows if fusion gets out of hand. That's the same thing with Malachite and even a bit with Alexandrite. So, number 5, Giant Woman, Coach Steven. Why? Because fusions are awesome. Number 4, being Story for Steven. Put this episode here is because for those who are real hardcore Steven Universe fans, you would know that this was technically the last episode for Season 1. And it was supposed to be, actually. And I know some of you are saying, but Jailbreak was the season finale for Season 1. This is true, but the creators and writers wanted Story for Steven to be the last one. But since for the Steven Baum thing, the first one at least, things got a bit mixed up, and not only that, the story for Steven got pushed back to season 2. But, I guess it helps a little for We Need to Talk. Why I put this episode here is because I like how the fact that they took one line from Laser Light Cannon, which was technically the first episode made, not shown, but made, where they said, How I Met Your Mother was that I was at a concert, I performed at the concert, and she was the only one there. They took that one line that I didn't really notice, or not even many people noticed, and made it into a full episode. I like that. And that was supposed to be their last episode as well for season 1. That's dedication right there. They took one thing and made it into an 11-minute animation. Honestly, you could, not have that episode. But it helps with the Greg and Rose relationship. And it shows how the gems were when, Steven wasn't around. Pearl was a bit saltier than usual. Amethyst was an actual child, more or less. And Garnet was just, still Garnet. And Rose was depicted as the perfect giant pink-haired woman that she is. But going down, or going further through the series, you see that Rose isn't really all that perfect. And maybe if I get to the season 2 episodes, which will be a long time from now, maybe I'll put We Need to Talk in here. Maybe even for an honorable mention. But that's for another day. So, number 4, Story for Steven. Why? Dedication. Moving on, we have number 3, which is On the Run. Now, this is the most important episode of the series. Besides, the first 10 and, actually, first 12, because 12 is Giant Woman. But On the Run is the most important episode in this entire series, in my opinion. Why? Because we learned about the kindergarten, and kindergarten plays a huge part with the Crystal Gems backstory. It's pretty much the main reason they're on Earth, more or less. It's the main reason that there were only Rose, Garnet, Pearl, and Amethyst left after the war. That's why there was a war. That's why everything that's happened on Earth was because of the kindergarten. Maybe a bit more, but we don't know that much. But everything connects to that place. Why I chose this episode is also not because it is the most important and just only for the kindergarten. It's because it's about Amethyst. She is my favorite character, and it is nice to see her actually get an episode, because in all of Season 1, Amethyst doesn't really get that many episodes that's solely just by herself. Anytime that she had an episode, it was mostly with Pearl, and you know how those two are. They hate each other, but they actually love each other. And even this episode is a Pearl and Amethyst episode, but it's mostly towards the end. The other episodes were all Pearl and Amethyst, and then there are about, I guess counting this, about 3-4 pure Amethyst episodes, but that's for another day. The point of this episode is that you learn about the Gem's backstory, not just Amethyst. You learn how Amethyst feels. You learn that she is more or less just like Steven. She was born on Earth. Well, I can't really say born. She was made on Earth, unlike Garnet or Pearl or even Rose. Every other gem has been from Homeworld. Steven and Amethyst are probably the closest thing that you can get from being brother and sister, because they can relate so much. That's why On the Run is number 3. Number 2 is The Test. And when I first saw this episode, I thought it was okay at best. I didn't really think much of it. The plot is that Steven is feeling a bit down that he failed the ceasefire test back in episode 3, Cheeseburger Backpack. And he realized that, well, if I fail that one, can you just give me another one? And I guarantee I'll pass that one. I can do it. Trust me, I've grown. And they do test them. So they make the temple rooms into a giant test. You have Amethyst with a giant boulder. You have Pearl with music and axes. And then you have Garnet with fire and spikes. But then, by the time Steven gets to the end, he realized anything he did didn't really matter. Because all those things I mentioned, the axes, the boulders, the fire, the spikes, none of it would have hurt him. He wouldn't have caught on fire. He wouldn't have been impaled. He wouldn't have gotten cut. Nothing. Everything would have just stopped before it hit him. Anything that he did, he couldn't do anything. If he wanted to fall to his death, he couldn't do it. If he wanted to cheat the memorization for music, he could have done it. He could do anything there. And that kind of didn't make him happy, because he was cheating without him knowing, more or less. But they did it for a reason. They didn't do it just to boost his confidence. They did it for them, more or less. Because without Rose, they don't know what they're doing so much. They've never seen a human and gem hybrid before. That's never been made. Steven's the first one. And I don't blame them for, having low confidence when we really don't see them or their true selves. Because without their leader, they can't do much. I know Garnet is a leader, but sometimes she doesn't even know what she's doing. She's admitted, I don't even know what Steven is, more or less. None of us do. So that's why we have to do this. And by the end of it, Steven plays along and says that that was the most hardest test that he's had, and he still passed it, and everything that you guys did was well executed and perfect design. And the number one spot is... Before I do that, I'm going to do a recap, mostly because I know some of you probably just skipped to the end to see what number 1 is. So, haha. Number 5 is Giant Woman and Coach Steven. It's a tie. Number 4 is Story for Steven. Number 3 is On the Run. Number 2 is The Test. And the number 1 best episode in season 1 is... Zach Dap for me.
Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Do it again.
Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it is Alone Together. I put this episode here is because there's just so many things that's perfect about the episode. The first thing being the reactions from people about the fusion. The main premise of the episode is Steven and Connor fusing. That alone should be a great episode, because they have hinted that Steven could or will fuse later in the series. And they do it. They've done it 11 months later. And that's what happens. Steven and Connie fuse, and just everyone's reaction is perfect. Pearl says, well, humans can't fuse, so this just isn't right, and I don't even know how this was possible, and she starts freaking out a bit. Amethyst just goes along with it and even comes up with the name for the fusion, Stevonnie. And Garnet is probably the best one, is because if you know what she is, if you watch Jailbreak, I should say, and watch Alone Together, then it makes her reaction twice as better and not confusing when we all first saw it. Because her being a fusion, and her seeing Steven and Connie fuse, and she knows they have a thing for each other, or at least they fully, officially will eventually, it makes it so much better. She says that, Stevonnie, you're not just one person, you're not two people, you are an experience. Now go have fun. And with following up that, the music, I know I haven't brought up the music in the other episodes. They didn't really stand out so much, except for the songs that I've mentioned at least. Well, I haven't mentioned all of them, but the songs in some of the episodes I've mentioned on the list are pretty good. The music in this one is perfect. Everything about it, from the Twilight Run when Stevonnie's just running around and stuff, doing cartwheels, to when she goes to the party at the end of the episode, and even when we see Kevin he's honestly the perfect reason. He's the main reason I put him on this list, and I'm just joking. But Kevin is a good thing, and has been stated from one of the writers that Kevin is Matt Burnett's favorite character. I don't know why, but why not, I guess. And with this episode, we all know it's coming. It's the biggest hint of what's coming at the end of Season 2, or probably in Season 3. That being, Stevonnie is going to be using Rose's shield and sword. Steven's side with the shield, and then Connie's side with the sword, fusing to make Stevonnie. With both of those, I don't know how that's not the best fusion ever. It's perfect. It is plain perfect. And when we finally probably get to see her riding with the shield and the sword and probably riding online, all this other stuff, it'll be the best episode or finale ever for Steven Universe. It's the perfect fit. And if the Crewniverse or Rebecca Sugar doesn't do this, I'm gonna be so sad. Because it's gonna be a missed opportunity. We all know it's coming. Stevonnie, it's gonna be the perfect fusion. So, that's why Alone Together is number 1. All in this episode also came out on my birthday, so it's a good birthday gift. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.